particularly for SDG 12 today, Responsible Consumption and Production, entitled Sustainable Municipal Solid Waste Management. Yeah. Before we start, let me just do some housekeeping here. All right. This session will be conducted with the presentation by our speaker. Yeah. And later we will have our Q&A session. All right. This is a video conference. I would like to advise that we have our proper attire on. This is to prevent accidental crisis should the camera automatically turn on. Yeah? And I hope also that we turn on our microphone to reduce the disturbance. But should you need us later, please turn on the mic and so, right? And then before we start the session also, for information, our speaker is here with us. Our lovely speaker is here. Yeah. So let me do some simple introduction for the speaker, which is Miss Bokham Chanhthamixay. Sorry, is it correct, Miss D? Yeah. Or she simply said can call her Miss D. Yeah. And then basically she is a Laotian, in Bangkok, and possess a master degree in Environment, Development and Sustainability International Program from Chulalongkorn University. And her thesis is about assessing the sustainability level of municipal solid waste management in Bangkok by waste-aware benchmarking indicator. So she is our specialist or the focal person in relation to waste management. Yeah. And then she also obtained her Bachelor of Business Administration, majoring in General Business Administration from National University of Laos, Faculty of Economics and Business Management. And Miss Bokham or Miss D also currently involved in Sustainability and Entrepreneurship Center in cooperation with UNICEF Thailand, Project Research Consultant. Yeah. So without further ado, yeah, the session is yours, Miss D.
Thank you very much. Thanks again, Dr. Rumaizah, for the introduction, and special thanks also to Dr. Razak for the invitation, and thank you everyone for here today. And Dr. Rumaizah mentioned that the topic that I would like to share with you today is about sustainable municipal solid waste management. And before I go to the main slide, may I introduce you a little bit about my presentation outline. Next slide, please. In case that you don't, we are going to hear basically, when we talk about waste, everybody is familiar with it, right? Because everybody knows that waste is waste, right? And trash is trash. So, yes, that's right. But when we think about this definition, definition is very varied depending on sources. But the UN concept, as we heard, municipal solid waste, waste that is generated by household or waste of nature, generated by commercial and industrial waste, by institutions, yes, schools, people, animals, or communities, and so on. So it's generally solid waste generated by which excludes the solid ones. So in terms of its composition, it's normally separated into two main categories: organic waste, mineral waste, vegetable waste, and hazardous waste. So this is what I would like to show you, that how different of the waste composition of organic waste today, as in low and middle income countries, the composition of organic waste is much higher than in high countries, representing about 53%, while in high country, organic waste is only about. But at the same time, the proportion of paper waste is much higher in high income countries compared to low and middle income countries. The next slide, please. Next slide, please. And this is the cause of FSPU generation. So actually, we talk about municipal solid waste management because its generation is very, very rapid in the last decades. And according to the World Bank, the global municipal solid waste volume was about 1.3 billion tons per year, and is estimated to be twice in 2025. So it is very soon. And the problem is that when these waste are not well managed, it causes a lot of problem on environment, but also social and the economic. So the main factors that influence with this waste generation is economic, urbanization, and the increase of population. So it's quite clear that when there are more people, it means there are more consumers. So when there are more consumers, then it generates more waste. So next slide, please. And I think that when municipal solid waste are not well managed, they generate a lot of impact on environment, social, and the economy. The impact of municipal solid waste on environment is mainly in terms of air pollution, water pollution, and also soil pollution, because the landfill generate a lot of impact on these elements. And this linked to the impact on social, which is on human health in terms of pollution. And another impact on social is also in terms of security, because as you know that why there are hunger that affects about 1 billion humans, 1/3 of the world food is today. And the other impact of municipal solid waste is on the economy. This is basically mainly about the cost of waste management is very high. As I can give you an example is that the government in Asia spend about 20 billion USD per year on municipal solid waste management. So this is a lot. And another impact is indirect impact. This is mainly about tourism industry. As you can imagine that nobody would like to visit the tourist site that's full of garbage, right? Everybody prefer to travel to a clean and beautiful area, right? So, and the example that I would like to give you just to let you see the clear image about the impact on the economic is that waste itself is a source of some kind of disease also because they attract like rodent, rats, mosquito, etc. So there was an outbreak of that in pandemic in India long time ago in 1994 that caused about 56 deaths and 45,000 tourists canceled their trip to India. So the total cost was about 2 billion losses. So this is just to show you that the impact is very, very significant sometimes. It's like this. And hearing is impact and municipal solid waste related program. Municipal solid waste was also mentioned in the Sustainable Development Goals. I am sure that everybody here will be very familiar with the Sustainable Development Goal already. So I will not go into the detail, but just to give general purpose of the SDG is that to define the challenges that we face and that we need to address, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate change, environment degradation, prosperity, peace, and justice. So the SDG concept is to leave no one behind. So it's very important that we achieve this goal by 2030. And goal 12 is about responsible consumption and production. So this links directly to municipal solid waste program, especially under goal 12.3 and 12.4 and 12.5, which insists a lot on waste reduction. Next, please. So hearing is impact as well as is a problem on many factors related to sustainable development. So you may wonder about if there is any sustainable solution, right? So first of all, may I introduce a little bit about like how this kind of waste is managed. And actually, MSW management of the activities that related to waste collection, waste transportation, waste treatment, and also waste disposal. And as I mentioned, that the impact of waste is basically when it's not well managed. So in many countries, especially in the third world countries, waste collection coverage is only about 26%, and at the same time, about 50 to 60% of them is not collected at all. And according to many reports, about 50% of the population are not having access to waste collection service. So these poor municipal solid waste management could trigger a serious threat to public health and environment pollution. So, in terms of its sustainable management framework, there are several that exist. For example, as you may have heard a lot about it, which is about reduce, reuse, and recycle. So this is mainly focused on reduction and recycling. And another one is integrated sustainable waste management. This is mainly to focus on promoting waste, promoting the sustainable solution like promote the technology that is appropriate for each city managed district. So next page. So now, hearing that some sustainable management framework related to municipal solid waste exist. So you may wonder, like, how is the waste management of our city, right? So this is what I would like to share with you about my study case that I had conducted. What I did was I did an assessment on the sustainability level of municipal solid waste management in Bangkok. And hearing that, we may wonder, like, how can we assess those performance, right? Well, there is a tool which is called Waste Aware. So Waste Aware benchmark indicator is designed for this purpose, which is to assess the effectiveness of waste management at city level. So Waste Aware, the purpose of this Waste Aware is mainly to allow the city judge its own performance regarding municipal solid waste management and its services, and also to provide the information for decision making. At the same time, it can also identify the local strengths and weak points that can be addressed. Also, it can be monitor change over time as well. So this tool has been developed by many researchers from multiple countries. It was developed in 2012 and 2013, and it won the Integrated Solid Waste Association and Charter Institution of Waste Management in 2015 for being the best publication. So on the blue figure that I would like to show you here is the set of these two indicators. So these two compose of three main sets of indicators. So the first part is about background information. So this part will be comprised of basic information related to waste management of the city, such as how much waste is generated in that city, and the general profile, like how many population there. And the second part is about maintenance. Under these factors, there are three main indicators, which is mainly about waste collection services and waste treatment, waste disposal, including the 3R concept that's been applied on that city. And the last part is called governance components. So in this factor, it's also comprised of three main indicators, which is about inclusivity, financial sustainability, and sound institutions or proactive policies. Next, please. And this is how I collect the data for each indicator of waste aware tool. So as you can see that the data can be collected through three means, either from in-depth interview with the sector that relevant to waste management, or it can be from secondary sources also. And sometimes when it sometimes when it's native, we can do also the field survey for more proof that whether our data was reliable enough or not. So here as you can see, when I show you the cross line or the X, it means the information is come from this source for each indicator. So next please. And after we collect all the data that we need for each indicator, we will give the score based on its manual. There is a manual that we can follow on how to give the score, and about traffic light color coding. When we give the score of each indicator, it will result is as red or orange and green, which means if it's red, if its result is as red, it means it's low, and if its result is as green, it means that it's high, so it's very good there. For example, like waste collection coverage, if in that city the waste collection coverage is below 49%, so it will result is as low. But if it's about 99 to 100%, this means waste coverage of that city is very high. The next please. And before I show you the result of waste management in Bangkok, may I introduce you a little bit about its profile. Municipal solid waste situation in Bangkok. Actually, the total waste generation in Thailand is about 27.8 million tons per year, and besides, 4.20 million tons is generated in Bangkok. And there are about 5.7 million inhabitants and 2.6 million households in Bangkok. This figure is not include non-registered ones, so this is only about registered population. But when we include those that are not registered, for example, like including foreigners, it would be about 10 million people living in Bangkok. So waste collection by BMA, or the Bangkok Metropolis Administration, is the one who takes responsibility on municipal solid waste management in the city. So according to BMA, waste was collected about 10,000 tons per day. And after waste that is collected, they are transferred to three main transfer stations, which is at on North Nordin and Chanhthamixay district. And in this regard, about 87% of these waste is disposed through landfill. There are about two landfills nearby in the nearby provinces, nearby Bangkok, which is at Chanhthamixay and Bokham provinces. And about 10% of them is composted, and 3% is treated through thermal treatment at Nordin district. And this is the result of my assessment. This is the picture of waste array analysis assessment result. It automatically look like this when you add all the information into the software or its Excel file. Then you will get the result like this. as you can see here, both strength and weak point are identified here. For example, the green one is about waste captured by the system as that one of the is captured by the system. And the weak point was the weak point were found in terms of the recycling rate because in Bangkok there was about only 23% of recycling rate. So this is resulted as low medium. As you can see, it's green and orange here. Next, please. So here is what I would like to give you the more detail on the good points and weak points that identified by the waste array analysis. The good point of the waste management situation in Bangkok was found in the indicator 1.1, 1.2, 2, and indicator 2E. So 1.1, as I mentioned, that waste coverage is quite high, representing about 90%. And all of waste that is collected is disposed through controlled treatment. So that's represent as a good point. And also that the control of waste treatment facility is reported to be good. But the weak point was about recycling rate, as I mentioned, that it is showed that the 3R principle is not well promoted there, and also that in terms of waste collection service, there are some of the waste accumulation, illegal dumping, and overflowing sometimes found in many areas, especially in high diversity communities. So for governance factors, indicator 5F review as a strength because the Bangkok Metropolis Administration reported that they have quite fund or budgets to maintain the current service related to waste management. But the weak point were also identified in terms of indicator 4U and 4P. This is about the user that are insufficiently included in waste management when it's turned into decision making, and cooperation between formal and informal sector was found in other court. So another weak point is also on the indicators 6N and 6L, as there is no single institution controlling waste management and regulation there. This is based on waste array analysis. And when we have all the results, we can use we can create a radar graph in order to compare or to benchmark to the other cities. So this is on the left one is the radar graph presenting waste array analysis results for Bangkok, and on the right one is when we compare to the other cities. For example, comparing to Mexico City, Central, and Labo. So the picture will be like this when we benchmark to the other cities. Next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Can Miss D view the slide?
I can see it, but I would like to have next slide, please.
Do you mean the conclusion?
Now I am seeing that is showing the radical graph.
No, okay. Okay. Now it's showing conclusion.
No, on my screen it's showing the radical graph.
Wow, okay. I think we are here, we can see the Can you see the slide for the conclusion now, Miss D?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But we are actually looking at the conclusion slide.
Okay.
But while waiting for Miss D to view the slide, so maybe if anybody has any question, you can be prepared for the next Q&A session in a while.
Okay, now I can see the conclusion. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me well?
Yes, yes, please, Miss D, yes.
Okay, so sorry about the interruption. And in conclusion, I would like to say that an effective management related to municipal solid waste could reduce waste volume and as well as its diverse impact on the sustainable development, especially on the social and the economy. So for the Bangkok case, data analysis suggests that enhancing the implementation of 3R is necessary. This mainly on mainly to focus on waste separation at source, as this is a foundation of waste reduction and also for waste management. And it is also suggested that to enhance the quality of user and provider inclusivity, because the informal recycling sector play an important role in municipal solid waste management in Bangkok. So therefore, it's very important to implement a clear regulation framework related to the real rights and obligations for them, so that could help to address the concerns. The other suggestion also on to enhance the quality of waste collection service, and this focus should be given on the high density area, because on those areas, its collection, waste accumulation, overflow bins, and illegal dumping are frequently found. And also strengthen waste management related to institutions and regulation and regulatory framework, both at local and national level are also important. And lastly, what I would like to mention is that this waste is actually generated by everybody at all levels, including individual to city and national level. So I would like to promote that every one of us to participate in at least waste separation at source, because this is something that everybody can do. And to separate waste help a lot to not only to reduce waste volume, but also help for a better waste management of the city, so that could save cost for our country. And I would like to suggest that what we can do also, we try to be aware on this issue by trying to consume or try to use some recyclable products. And for example, like we go to shopping, when it's not necessary, we don't need to use plastic. We can use reusable bags for doing shopping. So yes, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss D, for the very interesting topic. I think the topic is very related to our daily life, basically. Ways that we generated and all, and how we should actually reduce the generation of waste. So thank you for the great presentation. Very clear. Very interesting. All right. So I open to the floor. Should we have any question? We have one here. All right. Have from Mr. Muhammad Rizaimi Shaharuddin, right? He asked that, do you have any idea about how industrial waste is being handled in Thailand? And does industrial waste impact is serious as the municipal waste just now?
Thank you very much for the question. It is very good question. Actually, industrial waste is also one of the factors that influence waste generation as well as waste management. But specifically, this needs some assessment, because for my assessment is more or less about the whole framework of waste management itself. So that's why maybe I would share the more detail on my paper that I have shown you here in the link of the last slide, as you can see. So in here, maybe you can get more information related to that factors.
Okay. Hope that answers your question, Mr. Muhammad Rizaimi. So we have another question, Ms. D. All right. This is from Dr. Chitbon, Dr. Chitbon Ahmad. So she said that, thank you, Ms. D, for an interesting sharing. So based on your case study, which point do you segregate the waste in terms of the different type of waste? For example, paper, plastic, aluminium, or glass. Is it at the first point or at the waste transportation? It is where we actually segregate the waste.
The question is mainly about the weak point, right? Which one is representing the weak one?
No, the question was in relation to waste segregation. At what point that the segregation activities took place?
Okay, yes, this is very interesting thing. That's what I found on my research, and thank you very much for this question. Based on my study that I conducted in Bangkok, the result found that waste separation or waste separation as so was demonstrate that in terms of trust, of the population related to waste management, because the population believe that if they separate waste, if in a case that they will be dumped in a mixed dumping by waste collector or waste management in any case. So that's why the waste separation in this city is not much. for now. So this is the main reason, because when I did my survey, most of them said like, oh, we would like to separate waste, but we also wonder whether after the segregation, waste are not going to be done in a mixed way or not. So they say the common waste.
So basically, it's not being segregated during the earlier phase of the waste collection, is it?
Yes.
I see. All right. Me myself has one question for Miss T actually.
Yes, thank you.
Not one, two basically. So the first thing I would be interested if I seen the radar graph. Yes, so from India, you have from China maybe, and also from Thailand. But have you ever, tried to compare with our country, Malaysia?
I was looking for that whether wastewater has been applied in Malaysia or not, but until now I haven't found yet. So I would like to compare the whole waste management of Malaysia and Thailand also, because it's very interesting to see. But because the radar graph injected by waste aware tool, so this need to use the same tool in Malaysia also in order to compare. Otherwise, the data may not be the same.
So maybe this is actually an opportunity for research for those who are involved in waste management or in sustainable environment research area. Yeah. So to all the participants today, this is an opportunity. This is a good topic to do research for, and maybe we can collaborate or get advice from Ms. D.
Yes, sure. I'm very welcome. You are all very welcome.
All right. So my second question would be, it is very clear, on the results of your research. But what was your premier expectation based on this? You have come up with all the readings. You have come up with all the indication where it's actually red, where it's actually orange. So in the end, what do you expect from these particular findings for Bangkok or maybe for the environment per se?
Well, as any other people, that when we hear about the impact of this waste, it is very significant on many dimensions of the sustainable development. This is including environment, social, and economic. When it affects the environment, it also affects our health, for everyone's health. So for me, what I expect is that whatever that we can do to improve the waste management situation in order to reduce the risk of the impact. Based on the waste aware analysis assessment, I would like also to, I am also expecting that some weak points that have been identified to be abstract, especially in terms of FVR, like which is relevant to source separation, is to reduce, reuse, and recycling. Because right for my assessment, it demonstrates that waste recycling is pretty low. This means it's relevant to also waste separation as well. Because when you don't separate waste, it's to separate them later. So this affects also the recycling rate. So if we could participate and that the government give some support also from in terms of giving advice or knowledge or some policy or anything that help to improve this kind of factors. But actually, after my assessment, as I mentioned, that waste collected in 2017 was about 10,000, if you remember on that slide. It was about 10,000 tons per day. But later on, in 2019, it is reported that waste collected was about 9,000 tons per day. So it's reduced already a bit. So I am happy for that. And I'm not pretty sure whether my feedback that I have submitted to them affect those reductions, but I'm happy to hear that we're happy with you. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. So now we have a few more questions here. So I think there is one has triggered the interest because I said just now maybe Malaysia can also conduct research in relation to waste aware. So we have this one question from Ms. Nurjihan Mat Johan. Do you think waste aware is applicable in Malaysia?
Yes. Waste aware tool is designed to be applicable worldwide in any city regardless of their income. So that are totally applicable in Malaysia. Sure.
Okay, we have another question as well. So this is from Ellen Chung Siu Mi. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's I think it's a she. So she said that, hi Miss D, thanks for the presentation, very interesting. Do you have data on waste management from other countries such as Indonesia or any other Asian countries?
Yes, sure. First of all, apologize that I haven't mentioned about waste management of my own city, of my own country, which is now. So, since that I have conducted my studies in Bangkok, so more, I have more data related to waste management in Bangkok, so that's why. But may I share with you also waste management in my country? And as I mentioned, that one of the factors that influence waste generation in worldwide is mainly come from the number of the population. So first of all, is that now the number of population is not very high, so the waste generation there probably is a little bit lower than in the country, because the population in Laos is about 7 million people only, and besides there is about 800,000 people, below 1 million, is living in Vientiane, which is the capital of the country. And in this regard, waste collected was reported to be below 1,000, which is about 650 tons a day. So it's not much, but this is mainly because also that the population is not a lot here.
So it depends on the population as well, yeah, the numbers.
It depends on that, and depends on economic activities, and it depends on many factors that influence the generation of waste.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you have quite a good number of pens here, Miss D. So basically, we have more questions. So let me take another one. All right. So Encik Azman Nizam Abdul Rashid from Urbanized Malaysia, yeah, would like to know how Thailand closed the loop, particularly in managing the solid waste.
Well, I recently, what is obvious for me is that a few years ago, Thailand was recorded to be one of the top 10 that generate plastic bags, as you may have. So later on, that government have done some action in terms of promoting stop using the single plastic bag. And what I impressed is that before the shop or the supermarket, everywhere they generally gave single use plastic bag to everybody. But now it's already banned. They don't use it anymore. So most of the people bring their own. Most of the Thai people bring their own reusable bag to shopping now. So this is what I can see that is very, very obviously changed. It's a good point of this in this country.
Okay, it's almost similar like Malaysia. We don't. I mean, the supermarkets are not encouraged to provide plastic bags, even the biodegradable bags. Yeah. Okay. Maybe another question. So this is something a bit away from municipal waste. So Encik Muhammad was asking, how did Thailand manage the agricultural waste?
Agricultural waste. This I'm not very familiar with the agricultural waste that much. So sorry that I may not be able to give the full answer of this question.
Okay.
But I think agricultural waste. Well, in many countries, in not only here, in many countries around the world, for some area, open burning is still quite common, including in my country. So most of the agricultural, sometimes they dispose their waste through either burning or most of the time they some of them, but in terms of action from the government, well, they try to promote that open burning is not allowed. So, but in some area it is going on. So this is what we are working on it.
Okay, all right. Okay, wow, you really have a lot of fans here, many questions, but they are shy to ask for themselves. Yeah, I read maybe another 2 questions, all right, or maybe 3, because I can see that this is very important also. So just now, Miss D has mentioned that the segregation was not conducted in the earlier stage based on a response for Dr. Cik Bun's question just now. But we have another question here from Madam Shaharia. Yeah, she would like, she is interested to know, is Bangkok City of Thailand has successfully managed to encourage the citizens to segregate their municipal waste for recycling.
Thank you very much for the questions. And actually, to answer this question, we need some full assessment on these factors specifically. But from what I have seen, based on my experience, is that waste was reduced, as I mentioned, from about 11% from 2017 to 2019. So, but during COVID, so the plastic bag has been increased a lot. From about 60% of plastic bags has been increased because, you know, when people have to work from home, everybody stays at home and the restaurants are closed, etc. So online order, online delivery, booming, you know, and then everybody order food online. So this affect the increase of plastic waste. So about 60%. But in terms of separation, well, I that in some area they provide a lot of normally when there is incentive related to that action, then people tend to do more. For example, like bottle or glass or something that they can get the revenue from it. Then most of the people do. But if it's just like plastic bag or things like this, people are still like kind of it much. There is not much incentive to separate this kind of things. So that's why for me is that if there is some incentive related to those actions, this would help a lot to increase the source and also the awareness and the knowledge on how to do so, because it's not like simple to separate waste, but actually it's quite it is some understanding whether some people are kind of misunderstand like, oh, how can I separate waste, because I'm not sure whether what is called general waste and what is called recyclable waste, etc. So these need to have some help from the specialized or government sectors or someone who is specialized on this, giving advice on to promote this kind of information related to, so this can help people to understand more so that people can separate correctly, properly.
So incentive and creating awareness.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I would like to emphasize to the participants that in the chat box we have two links. One link is for e-certificate, for your attendance, and the other link is specifically for UiTM staff, for our jam latihan. All right. So you can check out the chat box, to find those links. All right. Okay. It is. We have more question coming in. So I think we have from our dearest Dr. Siti Iqbal, Professor my dear Dr. Siti Iqbal, So she was wondering if you may share with us the role and function of SEC UNICEF as field advocacy for SDGs. Maybe there are many other collaborative opportunities for us to join in.
Sorry, could you please repeat?
Basically, what would be the role and function of SEC UNICEF, the one that you are being part of, in relation to SDGs? So maybe there would be more opportunity for us to come and collaborate.
The UNICEF is mainly focusing on the child or the children, as you may heard about them, because they work a lot on promoting children rights. Actually, children, if you think in terms of sustainability, children is a dimension of the future, right? Because they are going to be the one who how to say the important group of people in terms of human resources, which will be participating in country development. So, yes, promoting student rights and things that related to the child is very important.
Okay, so basically, anything to do with the children, is it? Okay, all right. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, but we have, maybe I would like to read two more suggestion or question. So we have from Urbanized Malaysia, and Azma Nizam Abdul Rashid mentioned that Urbanized Malaysia is now preparing a study to closing the loop. So maybe that is the reason why the previous question on how Thailand or Bangkok is closing the loop for municipal waste. So one of the outcome for urbanized research is about plastic composition. And there is one question from Cik Hafian from Urbanized also. What would be the initiative for improving recycling rate for Bangkok? So maybe specific to informal recycling sector, something to do with citizens to do recycling to create jobs. What would be the initiative to improve recycling rate?
Initiative in improving recycling rate, as I mentioned earlier, that basically when it turns into incentive, people are likely to participate more. So in some developed countries, there are some type of like an incentive, like if you return the products that, for example, like telephone, like electronic waste to the company or to the original source, then they have some kind of incentive, like they have some kind of a little bit money back to you, like for example, probably the package of a gift or something like that. So people are more likely to do more, and also that the incorporate between government and recycling sector is also important because this is linked to many factors, as I mentioned, including the separate thing waste as source also, because when people separate more waste, so it's easier to manage the waste. So that could also help to increase the recycling rate. And in many developed countries, they provide a lot of facility also, in terms of infrastructure. So if there is good infrastructure and convenient facility, so this also can be one of the factors that help to promote waste separation, which could affect waste recycling. It could also be an incentive for people to do so, because when it's convenient, people are more likely to do as well. So
okay, yeah, that answers all initiative, motivation, and awareness. Yes. Thank you very much, Miss D. So I think if the participants have more questions, all right, I think this particular topic interests most of the people. It relates to our daily lives. It relates to the sustainable environment. Yeah. Should the other participants have further question, yeah, please email to Miss D directly. Is it possible, Miss D?
yes.
Okay, so maybe in a while we will share Miss D's email address at the chat box. Yeah, and we have one comment here from Puan Hasnita Muhammad. It's true, collaboration among all countries regarding solid waste management is important. Yeah, so I think with the very informative presentation by Miss D, and also with all the very fruitful and informative question and answer session just now, yeah, we have all actually gathered very important information for us to actually brings up for everyday's activities. Yeah, so the waste management and how do we actually should manage the waste. So here, our friend has actually put in Miss B email address, yeah, Miss Bokham Chanhthamixay at email, d_d_tan@live.com. So should you have a further question, so please email to her. I believe that she would love to actually answer all your questions. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. So before we end the session, yeah. So I would give Miss D some time to maybe have your last words for all the participants.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you very much actually for a lot of interesting questions that can be opportunity for further research and further study. So, what and some of them I may not answer the full. I may not give a full answer to some questions, but it's very interesting to hear and that we can develop or to studies for the further improvement. So thank you very much, and I hope that everybody's be aware on waste issue. Of course, that what I would like to promote is that try to be aware on its impact, because it is waste is something that every one of us can participate in by either restoration or try to not to use the single use try not to use the non-recyclable one. For example, like avoid using single plastic or straw, because it's something small, but when we think like, okay, I use only one bag, and one person one bag, and two person two bags, and million people million bags. So try to if we could help to be aware on this point, then it's already very good for our environment and sustainable development. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much again, Miss D, from all of us. And we have requests that can we please have all the participants or whoever who wanted to join us to on your camera, so that we can have one memorable photo session.
Yes, sure.
Okay, let us all, okay, whoever wants to join the photo session, yeah, do turn on your camera. All right. Okay, so maybe Dr. Rostam will be the cameraman, I think. Well, we have a lot of beautiful faces here. We have Prof. Masran. Hello, Prof. All right. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Rostam, on your cue. Is it done, Dr. Rostam?
Big smile.
Is it all right?
Okay.
You're done.
All right. Okay. So, on behalf of the organizer, yeah, me, Rumaizah, Muhammad Nordin, would like to thank everybody, in particular to our honorable speaker, this very fruitful session. And I hope that we will meet again, yeah, in our next session. Yeah, for your information, we have a lot of these Asian discourse sessions. Yeah, stay tuned with us. All right, and not to forget, please fill in the form for your certificate and for your attendance. All right. With that, I end the session, and thanks again for all the participants. Have a good day, everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, bye.